hard lately. I'm pumped.
Yeah, I'm excited.
How long you got?
What was that?
How long do you have, like time wise?
Um, I don't
Okay,
have
sweet.
anything to do, so
Got time.
I'm set. Yeah, however long it lasts.
Sweet. Okay, I'm pretty sure we're live here, so let me check. Ah, shit, that's what I just got to change the title. But yeah, we're live. I just got to make sure the title is
Sweet.
not June wrap up. That's why I always double
Yeah.
check. All right. So live. Okay, here. So what's our host? Right, Isaiah Rivera, professional dunker.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So yeah, this will
Yeah,
be out on
I posted this like on my page recently, like right before coming on here. So hopefully, give it some traffic
yeah,
too.
sweet. If not, look, the podcast platform's our main thing, and it'll be out there Monday. So all good.
Awesome, awesome.
I just gotta try and get up so I can see if people. All right, sweet, we're on there. Let's just make sure this is editing. Why didn't that change from the monthly wrap up? It should do anyway. All right, mute that. That is muted. All right, ready? I'll just introduce it and we'll get going.
There we go.
All right, sweet. All right, guys, here we go. We have episode 137. We've got on a guy who's been killing it in the dunk scene lately. He has one of the best verticals in the world. He's just come back from, look, I can't pronounce the name of the dunk comp he just won in Paris, but we're going to get into that. He's just come back from dunk camp. He was in the dunk league on YouTube, Volume 2, which we're definitely going to get into. Welcome to the High Performance Podcast, Isaiah Rivera. Welcome to the show.
Hello, hello. I'm happy to be here. Big fan, big fan.
Man, we're a big fan of you. And I feel like we've been like internet friends for quite some time. It's weird how you feel like you know people. I suppose I train with John Evans. There's the Facebook group. There's a whole dunk community, which I feel like a High Performance Podcast is in. We've had Nico on the show. We've had John on the show, Ben Patrick, and now yourself. It's a very nice community to be a part of.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's cool because it's kind of like, we're all connected. And I remember I started listening to your podcast like a while ago. And, it was cool seeing like John get on there, Nico, because like I know these people personally, like they're friends. So it's just cool. It's all come to like big circle.
Mate, it's full circle. And I tell you what, I recently got engaged. I'm really trying to convince my fiance we go to dunk camp via Utah for the honeymoon next year. Because I'd love to tag along. Because like I said, I feel like I know you guys well. Like I watch the vlogs. I watch Sally's vlogs.
Yeah.
Follow everyone on Instagram. Like I said, you listen to the show. So it's like other side of the world, but it's just that community. And I feel like I don't know if it's because I've been paying attention to it or because it is blowing up, because it seems like vertical jump training in general, and like obviously Ben Patrick, John Evans have a lot to do with this. It's becoming really mainstream. Like it's so consumable over the internet. Have you found that you've sort of blown up because of that, or you just think you've just been plugging away and grinding and doing what you've been doing?
I mean, it's kind of both. Like vertical jump training, I feel like now is a lot smarter than it used to be. Like I remember, like it used to be like you had like the jump soles and like jump programs that didn't really work and all those things. So now I feel like just your average jump program is already like pretty good. Like you know what I mean? Like they'll mostly work and all that stuff. But there's just been a huge push lately with like all the actual information that matters, the stuff that's valuable, and like it filters a lot of the junk out of the way. So I feel like a lot of my gains recently has been because of that, meeting John and like actually training properly and all that. And then that combined with just, I've always been consistent with Instagram and posting and always improving. So I think those two things combined just like really elevated me recently.
Yeah, consistency is definitely a huge thing, but more so I find to have consistency, the biggest thing is staying injury-free. And of course, you've had your fair share of injuries. Even recently, like how important is sort of learning about the body and I guess not being caught up in that gimmicky style of training?
I mean, injuries, they've literally been a part of like my entire journey from the beginning. Like I had jumper's knee when I was 16, which is right when I got my first dunk. So it's just always been something I dealt with. And then up until recently, John was a huge part in getting rid of that knee pain. But recently, when I started jumping really high, I started dealing with a lot of quad pulls. Like I pulled my quad like this was the third time in like 3 months or something like that. Um, and that was something that I've never really dealt with. But again, it helped me learn about my body, helped me get a lot smarter about my training. So I always tell people injuries are a blessing. Like it helps you learn. And like if I had never gotten injured, I would never be where I am right now with my training.
Yeah, definitely. And it's amazing, like the stuff, like even you see Selly, who seems like he takes a lot from John's camp and then knees over toes guy. He had almost 8 months off dunking and he posted a mix last week and it seems like he was jumping just as high as ever. And he wasn't essentially practicing dunking. I think he's a lot of guy who watches a lot of it and I guess visualizes, but it's just a testament to the gym style of training that these guys are doing and like mental rehearsal just to stay strong. Can you go back, I guess, talk about what injuries you had before you met John and even about the quad strain and what you were doing to help that?
Yeah, so this is gonna take us back to like the beginning.
Hey, take us back. We got time.
Yeah. So my first injury was obviously jumper's knee. It was more, you know what Osgood Schlatter's disease is?
Yes, yeah,
like
growing pains.
The growing pain.
Yeah.
So I had growing pains around when I was like 14, 15 years old. And then that's also around the time when I started getting obsessed with like training for vertical jump. And I remember I read this article with Joel Smith. He was interviewing Jordan Kilgannon.
The GOAT.
He was interviewing Jordan Kilgannon, and this was probably like 2012, 2013, like when the article was written. And it said that Jordan jumped every single day, and that's how he got his bounce up. And that was around the time when I discovered his YouTube channel. I saw how fast he progressed. I was like, whoa, like, this is possible. So as soon as I read that article, I just took that advice. I just started jumping every single day. And, you know, I had those growing pains and then combined that with jumping every day and like it just wrecked my knees. And it was something that I dealt with like literally from the start. And it got to the point like I got pretty good. I was able to manage it usually like with icing and like ibuprofen and all that stuff. But around 2017, it got to the point where like it was really hurting me in terms of like I couldn't get to the weight room. I couldn't do squats, any of that stuff. Even deadlifts were like hurting my knees. It was kind of ridiculous.
So wait, how old are you now? Just to give us some sort of time.
I'm 21.
Okay,
21.
sweet. So you were sort of 19. You'd finished growing, and you were obviously jumping.
Yeah. So like Osgood Schlatter's that was like done. That was just full blown like actual jumper's knee. And then 2017, that was 2 years ago. So this was like when I was 19. And so it got to the point where I was like dunking. And then I'd have to rest a week, wait until my knees got better, dunk, wreck my knees again, dunk, and like it was just like a never ending process. And then
but you're still obviously flying. You're still crazy dunks even back then, right? It's amazing what you can achieve even with pain, and then when you get good training and it's like consistent, you start to get on top of things and you start to kill it even more.
Yeah, for sure. And it was cool, and it was kind of a stupid decision too. Like around that time when my knee pain got really bad, I had decided to like drop lifting because I'd been lifting like all my life. Like I think I started lifting when I was 15, and it was all like actual good, like, you know, like ass to grass squats and like deadlifting in good form. Because my dad, he was actually an Olympic lifter in college. So like,
oh really? What do you know his numbers?
Of, like, I think I'm trying to remember. We were just talking about it when I was in Utah. I think he power cleaned like close to 400, if I'm not mistaken.
Fuck, that's crazy. My brother will be very, very appreciative to hear those numbers.
Yeah, I remember that number specifically because we were talking. It was me, my dad, and like and John were talking about like lifting and stuff. But he mentioned he did that for power clean. I don't remember his like clean and jerk and snatch numbers, like exact, but I remember him saying that for his power clean. But super strong, like super strong.
Yeah.
So, you know, growing up, I would like watch tapes of him like lifting and stuff, and I just had a good idea of lifting. So I had been lifting all that time, and then in 2017, I was like, you know what? Let me see what I can do without lifting. Like if I were to take lifting completely out from my training, and I just focused on dunking. How good can I get? And it was just bad timing because my knees were starting to get messed up. So, like I said, I was having a 2-hour dunk session, waiting till my knee gets better, and just repeating that cycle over and over again. No lifting. And then I really like plateaued during that time. That was actually when I did Dunk League, the one that aired on YouTube.
Also, so they filmed that like a year ago, and it only just finished.
That was like 2.5 years ago
for Dunk League Volume 2.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah, and they just released it. Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Yeah. So that's like I was doing Dunk League too. I think I won my first couple of dunk contests around that time. So I was able to dunk, but it was just like afterwards my knees would be shot.
And the schedule looked crazy for that. Like, how long did they shoot that over? Because that went for like there was like insane. 8 rounds.
It was like a freaking Armageddon of dunking. Like it was crazy. So they flew us out there on like Monday probably, and we stayed until Friday. We had one day off. I think it was like Thursday. So we dunked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, off Thursday, and then dunked Friday. And the days we'd get to the like warehouse little area where it was filmed, we'd get there at like 9, 10 in the morning, and we wouldn't leave until like 9 at night. So it was that whole day. It was like, yeah, warming up, doing your dunks, cooling down, sitting around a little bit, eat, re-warm up again. It was insane. It was like 6, 7. I don't remember the exact number of competitions that like events they had 8. In that.
If you made it through to the finals, and then like for Jay Clark and Chris Staples, that they had like maybe 10 events. Like I was watching it, and I didn't know at the time, and I messaged John, and he was like, I don't know how long this took, and I was like, if this took less than a week, these guys' knees, I don't care who you are, your knees have to be hurting after something like that, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, and that was a big part in because I dropped, I was like the second person to drop or something like that. And yeah, my knees were a big role in that. Like by the time it got to the second day, I was like, yo, I don't even know. Like it felt like when I was gonna jump, my knees were just gonna like explode. Like it was insane. But I don't know. During that time, I honestly just got used to like jumping with knee pain. Like it just became a thing that I did. And at a certain point, it's just like, oh, the adrenaline's gonna take over, and like you'll be fine. So that whole crazy summer, I don't know if you want to get more into Dunk League or like a little bit
we
later
can get
on,
into Dunk League because it's fresh for me. I watched it every Tuesday when it came out.
Yeah.
And of course I was rooting for like yourself, CJ, and I love Kilgan, and like I've never had contact with the guy. I'd love to get him on the show. But that you guys are just my favorite. I think all left right jumpers.
That's awesome.
And it's just it pumps me up to train.
Yeah. But yeah, that whole crazy summer of dunk events happened, and then right after that, I started like implementing weightlifting back into my training because I was just like, after dunking, I was just like, okay, I need to hit another level. Like I need to, like elevate my training again and just get back on this. So I started lifting again. Gains came back really quick, but again, my knees were bad. I was trying to dunk and lift at the same time, and this time my knees just the worst, the worst they ever got. That's when I found out about John. So,
how did you find out about him? Because I feel like our listeners, everyone that listens to this will know about John Evans.
Yeah.
And fuck me, Dad, if he changes that Instagram handle one more time, I'm done with him.
I just saw that. Oh man. But there's this other dunker. He's 5'9". His name's Austin Burke.
Yeah. I know him through.
Yeah, he's actually my roommate where I'm living now. And I think John saw him dunking on Instagram because Austin's a 1-foot jumper.
Yeah.
So and John loves the 1-foot jumpers.
Loves the 1-foot jumpers.
So yeah. So he found him on Instagram. John asked him some questions. Decided to put Austin on his training. Me and Austin are really good friends. He calls me up. He's like, bro, this is the smartest person I've ever met. Like you need to talk to him.
Yeah.
And I'm a natural skeptic. Like when it comes to things, like
which is good.
Yeah, especially with like training and stuff. I'm not outright saying like, oh, like that won't work. It's just like, oh, why? Like,
yeah.
How? Like that type of thing. So Austin, he was like, bro, just FaceTime him for like an hour and you'll understand. Like, just trust me, FaceTime him. So I linked up with John, decided to FaceTime. I think that first FaceTime call lasted like 2 hours, and it just blew my mind completely about training. Like, it made me realize what I was doing wrong, what everybody in the dunk world was doing wrong. It started getting, he hadn't completely gotten into tendons and like tendon health at that point, but it was kind of getting the ball rolling. So it got me thinking about that. And I don't know, it gave me hope, to be honest. Like, it gave me hope that like I could keep doing this and I could keep improving and like all this stuff.
Stay pain
So
free.
yeah. So, but I wasn't able to still do his training because at the time I think I had a little like thing with Powerade. I was doing like sponsored posts with Powerade, and I had to do like 2 or 3 a week. So I was like, "Yo, John, after I finish, I just have one more month of like dunking through knee pain because like Powerade is like I'm doing this thing with them. After this, like I'll give you all the reins, like cure my knee pain.
Yeah.
Like I'll do literally anything you say." And yeah, I did the Powerade thing, got on his training. And this is one thing that like I've always prided myself in, like like growing up playing basketball and stuff like that. People always said I was coachable. Like I listened. I trusted John, and like I said, I was like, "Yo, anything you say, I will do." And the first thing that John told me was, "You're not gonna dunk, and you're not gonna play basketball until I say it's like
Yeah.
you're good to do it." And one of the first things I remember early on when I was first talking to Jordan Kilgannon, this is when I was like first getting into like dunking. He told me, he's like, "Oh, never go more than a week without jumping. Like just get your reps in."
Not what you want to hear from the GOAT.
Yeah, so I had always lived by that. Like, and I loved it. It got me to where I am. It got my jump technique like pretty good. It got all my dunks down. But it took its toll on his knees. So I always had a thing against that, like resting from dunking, like that would be the worst thing. Like I had a fear of losing all my gains. But at that time I was with my back to the wall. I was like, all right, if that's what it takes, I'll do it. So and then I started working with John. He taught me how to do isometrics. We did a lot of slow strength training, gradual build up into like more intense plyos and stuff like that. And I think he made me take like 6 weeks off. It was, and that was probably like a month and a half, no, 2 months before dunk camp, like that first dunk camp last year.
Yeah.
So I took those 6 weeks off, and then I remember that first day when I did box jumps. Like it was just a simple, like jump onto a box. Yeah, because getting back into dunking. And I remember I jumped, and I was like, "Yo, I feel springy. Like, what is this? Tendons, no pain." First time I had ever jumped without pain in my life, literally. Because, like I said, the first time I ever started like dunking and stuff like that, it was with knee pain.
Yeah.
So literally for the first time in my life, jumped and didn't feel pain in my knee, and I was like, "Ooh, like this is working." And then we built up, and then I had that first dunk session, and it was one of my best dunk sessions ever. I was jumping higher than before I took the 6 weeks off. So I had gone 6 weeks no dunking, and then came back and I was jumping my best. Then went and did dunk camp, did pretty well at dunk camp, and then from there it was just started getting better and better, more pain free. And then this past January, I had a little break of time where I didn't work with John, just because like life happened. But this past January, I asked John if I could work with him again. And he started training me. And this time, before it was load management program, so I was just taking care of my knees. This last January, it was just full on like, all right, we're gonna train you to jump higher, like.
Yeah.
And I was healthy at that point, and then from there, just every week jumping higher. It's been crazy.
Yeah, it's good because there's so many different ways to do it. Like you said, Kilgannon said he jumped every day, and maybe he's changed his mottos since then. And then you got a guy like Nico Dunks, who he will only jump and do athletics because I think he can naturally stay so strong, and then he'll only do weights. So it's just and that's what John's good at. He's good at figuring out what works best for you. Like I find myself, I'm in quite a heavy week of training this week. My knees feel great. I've jumped quite a bit, like for me, and I'm jumping high, feeling good. But then there's weeks where, and you've probably done this because I know we've done similar stuff where he cuts the weights right back and you're doing more jumping. And that's when I start to feel like shit. So I think I'm still so new to it. I need that jumping scattered in with like a lot of weight, something I'm reasonably good at compared to the jumping. And I think in time when I get used to it, because I think it is a very long-term adaptation for athletic stuff and jumping. Like you've got, even though you're younger than me, you've still got 8 years worth of jumping on me. So it's like, it's just, I think,
Yeah.
that long-term adaptation. And then again, buy-in, and you said you do anything John says, you believe that protocol, and it works.
hmm Yeah, and for me personally, because like I built in, I don't even know how many reps of like you know how many jumps I've done throughout this whole time. But it's to the point like I jump my best when I'm lifting. Like I can take a month off my jumping, and then you know only lift. But because I put in so many reps, like I can come back jumping higher than before.
Hmm.
I think what complicates things with dunking is the skill aspect of it. Like you still got to be able to do between the legs, reverse two hands, and like
Yeah.
that hand speed and all that stuff. And with that, I've started low rimming recently. So I have a basketball hoop set up in my backyard, and you know it's leaned over, so I don't have to jump. And every day I'm on that, like working on my dunks and visualizing my dunks and all that stuff. So that keeps my like hands coordination on point.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that combined with just the John's training has just been like the perfect combination.
It is crazy to think. And going back to what you said, like the skill of dunking is something I've never really played basketball, and I was like, fuck, dunking looks cool. I was running track. I was like, I
Yeah,
just want to be able to dunk. And just like handling the ball, and it's fucking hard. Even just to do a simple dunk. Like, I don't have big hands. I can't palm the ball.
yeah,
Cuffing it's hard. I'm getting better at dribbling, but in Australia, basketball is getting really popular now. Like, I think if you're a kid, you're going to play a lot of it and be exposed to a lot of it. But when I
yeah,
was young, I was like, sure, we shot around and we had hoops at school, but we were playing like touch football, soccer, running around, surfing, that sort of thing. And I've been to like an 8'9" rim and tried to go like, I can tomahawk and like sort of behind the back, sorry, overhead, but fuck, I can't even like stand and jump and put the ball through my leg. Like, it's fucking
yeah,
impossible. It's that is the real skill of like, it's one thing to be able to jump and headbutt the ring, which I still can't
yeah,
do, but it's another thing to be able to put your ball between the legs, even like dribble dunk.
yeah. It's definitely a skill because like, I mean, I've been doing a lot of these dunks. I've been doing it like from a young age. Like when I was 17, I was able to between the legs, behind the back,
It's
like
fucking
a lot of
madness.
that stuff.
It's
But
got to be
like, I
genetics, right? Because your brother's a beast too. And then you said
yeah,
your
I
dad was
mean,
super strong. Like, is it? So
yeah,
going with
I
what you're
mean,
saying, then we could go back.
yeah. I mean, I think part of it is genetic, but a lot of it, I think it was like growing up, like playing basketball. Like I was always doing like tricks and like, I was really influenced by like
Oh
and one
yeah, I
street
remember
ball.
those.
So
They even
yeah,
made their way
like
to Australia.
yeah. So when I was younger, I would like see. I had this video game called N1 Street Ball,
Yeah.
and there was this one part of the game where you could see all the moves. Like you could pick the moves that your characters could do. So I would literally put it on my TV and have them do the moves, and I would just be in my living room like copying like all their tricks and stuff like that. So from a young age, I was building that like coordination and stuff like that. And then once I got a low rim, it was just like
It was
it was a
on.
wrap. Like I was there for 3 hours every day, like you know, practicing like the dunks. Like I would come home from basketball practice. Basketball practice would last like 2.5 hours. I would come home and dunk for like 3 hours, like 2 or 3 hours every single day. So
Just that
that's
reps.
definitely yeah. It's just that's the skill part of it. It's like improving anything else. You know, it's just repetition, repetition,
Mm.
repetition.
Fuck, man. That's what I always say to my brother. It's like, I'm done like maybe 20,000 hours worth of swimming as a kid, and it's just not impressive. Like, you can't chuck a video of me doing a fast 50 free and be like,
Yeah,
why would I watch this guy when I can watch like Michael Phelps? It's
yeah,
just not the
yeah.
same. And I'm like, fuck, I wish I go into something else, or mum and dad pushed me. But now it's like with the internet, kids growing up, like there's that Nate Dunks kid. He's got access to you guys, so he can ask you
Oh
questions.
man,
He's got that sweet setup in his backyard. I
yeah.
know he's talking about knee pain, and like he can reach out to John. He can reach out. Like, he's gonna be a freak
hmm
when he's older. Whereas you as a kid, you were going off a video game. There was no one to ask. Like, even though you're still
Yeah.
quite young, Instagram, I guess, has sort of really risen to the top, along with YouTube, maybe in the last 3 years.
Mhm.
Maybe a
No,
bit
yeah,
more.
it's crazy. I've been thinking about that like a lot. And I'm seeing all these new like pages. Like it'll be like so and so's name Dunk, so and so's
Yeah,
name Dunks. Like there's hundreds of like,
so
and they're
many.
all young.
Dude,
It'll be like
some of them can't even dunk
12,
yet.
13-year-old kids. Yeah.
It's literally like me chucking
Um.
dunks in my name. I'd be way too paranoid to do that.
Yeah. And like you said, they have all the tools right there on Instagram. Like it's not even like they have to like Google how to jump higher. It's like you follow John Evans, Knees Over Toes guy, all those people. Like you literally have the tools right there,
Yeah.
and the access to the dunkers is so much easier. Like I remember when I first discovered the world of pro dunking, I thought these people were gods. Like I was like, yo, like they're untouchable. And then I
Well, I
remember
guess
the day
essentially they were, because they didn't have
Yeah.
this sort of knowledge yet. They were just freaks of nature, probably. Because, like you said, before the
Yeah.
internet, you probably would have given up because of knee pain. Whereas now, it's like anyone, like an average guy like myself, can get to a reasonable level after a year of training. And it's like a guy
Yeah.
like yourself, who is one of those gifted guys who's been putting a lot of work in, can even go to another level.
Yeah. And like it's all these people are reachable now. I remember the first day Jordan Kilgannon when because I found him on Facebook and he accepted my friend request.
Fuck.
I was freaking out in my house. Like I was running around to everybody like, "Oh, Jordan Kilgannon's my friend on Facebook." Like just going crazy. But now it's like you can shoot a DM to all these people, all these dunkers online, like, and they'll usually answer and all that stuff. So
yeah, fuck, Jordan still hasn't responded to Hard Performance podcast DM. So, mate, if you're watching this, fuck you.
I'll let him know.
This is the clip I'm gonna put on Facebook, so Instagram, so everyone can share it. Jordan Kilgannon, come on the show. Apparently, you're a pretty shy bloke, but fuck, I'm not gonna bite your head off.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'll let him know. I'll let him know so we can get him on here. But yeah, all these people are like, just it's super easy to like get in touch with them, and like the tools are there, man. Like, and all these, especially with John and stuff. And like you said, like I probably wouldn't be dunking right now, like because of the knee pain. Like, and now I have, in my opinion, dunkers 10 years from now, there's going to be people like well into their like late 30s still hitting primes. Because like when you look at guys that used to be in TFB and stuff like that, they dropped off like late 20s. Now all the top dunkers, I think Jordan's 27, Chris Staples, he's early 30s, Jay Clark just turned 30, Guy Dupuis 30s, and the things that these guys have in common, they're the people that took care of their bodies.
Well, look at Justin Gatlin this morning, ran 992 for 100. He's 37.
That's crazy.
Last Sunday, he ran on a different continent. He ran 987. It's like he might be able to go.
Nuts.
Who knows? Like we're sort of in that new age where technology's on our side. Everyone can learn more. And I saw even at dunk camp, obviously Andy, he's 40, late 40s, and he's dunking better than ever. It's crazy. It's inspiring as well. And not just is he being able to do that, but he looks great for his age. He's staying healthy, and that's not even, obviously it's everyone's goal to stay healthy. Well, I would hope, but performance is his goal. But he's getting so many different outcomes out of it that are positive just from having the goal of trying to dunk. Like he'd be eating healthy, doing a bit of cardio, getting to sweat up weights, flexibility, everything.
Yeah, because like that's kind of what it takes to be a good dunker. It's like a holistic approach. Like you need to be flexible enough to hit all the positions. Your like tendons, joints all need to be healthy so that you can like put as much force as you can into the ground. You need to be powerful, strong, like everything. If you see someone that jumps really high, they're usually a good overall athlete, like with everything. And yeah, it gives me hope, man, because like it gives me hope that I still got 10 to 15 years left to improve.
And
like,
that's just to be a pro, and then you can still enjoy it and just do it recreationally as well.
Yeah, dunk on people and pick up games and all that stuff.
That would be the sweet thing. It's like, that's what I really want to be able to dunk and just walk up to a because I can't play for shit. Like every time I turn up to a quad, people are like, let's play a bit of 3-on-3. Do you want to play? I'm like, mate, I'm hopeless. Like, I cannot play basketball. And then I just go down there and I'm like jumping and I'm like 9-10, dunking it in. And then I'm just can't shoot a ball to save myself.
No, that's what killed me, like, when I was in high school, because I started trying to jump higher when I was, like, 15, 16. So my goal was, like, I want to get a dunk in a game. Like, that would be the greatest thing ever. And I went my whole, like, senior year, I was trying to dunk. Like I'd go try to dunk it, boom, miss it, and then be like, dang it, today wasn't the day. And, yeah, it went my whole senior year. I didn't get a single dunk. And then I swear right after, like, high school basketball ended, that's when my vert just went, and like in games I was dunking all the time, and like now it's like nothing. Like now I'll dunk in games like off vert and stuff like that. But I always think like, dang, like if only I had gotten that one in game. Yeah.
Fuck, you never know, mate. You can always play pickup. It'd still be a good kick. to
Oh
dunk
yeah,
on
no, I
people.
love pickup games. John tells me to stay away from it, but there's
If you love the
some
game,
days
if you love basketball, you got to play.
yeah. I mean, that was my first love was like basketball. Like that's if it wasn't for basketball, I wouldn't be a dunker right now.
Mm.
You know, like so like my goal was always to make the NBA. Like as a little kid, like I think I started playing basketball when I was 10. Um, and then I mean I tried like all kinds of sports though. Like don't get me wrong, like I tried everything that you can think of, but basketball was always that main love, and I was practicing like 3 hours every day. And but once I discovered dunking, I just
Forgot about it.
transferred that passion I had for it and that work ethic. I just put that into dunking.
Yeah, it's a crazy one because you guys are pushing the boundaries. Like, what do you see is the next thing? Like, guys are sort of bouncing it off the ground, catching it in the air, dunking. Like, in your mind, what is something? Is it something no one's done, or what do you want to do? Like, where do you see is like the end point, or maybe that's a bad way to describe it. Like, where do you see is like you think your limit is for a dunk?
Whew, that's tough. Well, I think one area that dunking hasn't gotten into that I think is possible it could get to is flips.
So, like in
Like
the
doing a
air
flip.
backflip, like sort of off the
Yeah,
trampoline, Harlem Globetrotter style.
yeah, that stuff. I think once the first person like does it, it's gonna kind of just like open the floodgates and like people are gonna realize that this can be done and all that.
Yeah.
So I think flipping with dunking is one. Other than that, man, like it could go anywhere. Like there's so many dunks. Like I have a huge list of like it's like I think it's like 30 dunks deep right now of dunks that haven't been done before, and I'm just waiting until I can get a session right. Because
Yeah.
right now my sessions are just practicing for contests
Mm.
and stuff like that. But as soon as like the dunk contest season ends, like and I can just try crazy stuff, like I'm gonna go through my list. So there's a lot of stuff there, and then
That's when it's IG
jumping
season.
higher. Yeah, yeah.
Just everything on the
Um,
gram.
yep. But other than that, I think it's just jumping higher. Like guys are jumping higher than ever before now. Like you saw Jordan at dunk camp tested 49 and a half. So I think seeing those 50-inch verts is going to become pretty common like within this next year or two. And yeah, I think too being able to dunk for a long time, like guys' careers are going to be longer. That's going to help a lot. But
Mm.
there's so many different ways.
Yeah.
So many different ways it could go. All I'm sure about is that it's going to keep growing.
Well, mate, you
Like
just
dunking.
you just jumped over Blake Griffin to win. How do you pronounce that? The Quiet 54?
It's I actually found out when I was there. It's actually K54.
Fuck me, dude. The French language,
Yeah,
eh? So,
because
yeah,
I've been
talk
I've
us
been
through
calling
that.
it. Yeah, I've been calling it Quai 54 like ever since I found out about it. Then I went over there. It was like K54, K54. I was like, wait,
So
what?
take us through it.
Wait,
So you got that for anyone who hasn't seen this or doesn't follow yourself. You're over in Paris. They have like a basketball week, yeah, and it's the K54.
yeah,
So yeah, run us through that week and like what it was like to win. You dunked over Blake Griffin. It
yeah,
looked awesome because I follow Overtime Larry and then obviously yourself, and that was enough to pretty much see everything that went on.
yeah. Um, it was best moment of my life. I will say that, like winning that dunk contest. Because like when I first got into dunking and I found out about like pro dunkers and stuff like that, Dunkademics. K54 was one of those dunk contests. I think the first one I saw was 2014. And I remember seeing that as like a 16-year-old kid, and I was like, I want to do that one day. Like I want to be there one day. You know what I mean? And then so yeah, it was always there's been a few dunk contests that like are like kind of the pinnacle of dunking that I've always wanted to be a part of. So K54 was number one on that list. Doing a FIBA 3x3, that's another one that was really big growing up. I'm actually about to do it on
Hectic.
Sunday. My
Where
first
at?
FIBA, Mexico,
Oh, that'd be sweet.
Mexico City.
That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
So yeah, FIBA 3x3, and then Kings of Air dunk contest. I don't think they're having one this year. But those three right there, those are like the dunk contest that inspired me. Like I saw these guys winning it, and like I was like, whoa, like just mind blown. So yeah, K54. I remember I found out I was gonna be in it. I think around March. And Kadur Ziani, he like messaged me on Instagram,
Hectic.
asked me about it, and like
Did you
man,
talk
ever
to him
since
about the 60-inch vert he supposedly claimed?
I don't mention that to him. Like I just kind of let him have it. You know what I mean?
Dude, I'm pretty sure
Um,
France are like us. They use the metric system, so maybe you got confused between centimeters and inches. But then 60
yeah,
centimeters isn't that high, so who knows?
yeah. But yeah, I talked to him, and like, you know, Kador's a legend. Like everybody knows him. He's the first guy I ever saw on YouTube like pro dunking. So I found out about that, and then from there it was just like the preparation, man. The preparation was probably one of the most stressful things like ever. And you can ask John, it was probably more stressful for John, to be honest.
He's very
Cause like,
passionate about keeping people healthy. Like if his guys are hurt, I
yeah,
think he's like personally hurt, and he'll really do everything he can
yeah.
to make you better.
Nah, John helped me out, and like even just the mental aspect of it, of having somebody there to like write the training for me. If I'm worried about something with the training, I could talk to him. Like that actually helped me a lot with it. And so yeah, so I started training in March, and everything was going really well. You know, jumping my highest ever, and then I pulled my quad. Like I think 2 months. It was like 2 months before the dunk contest, and it's the first time that ever has happened to me. And I was like, damn, like what's going on? And then it was basically what my jumps were getting so high, like my body wasn't used to it, and I needed to be like stronger in the weight room. Um, so I came back from that like really slowly. And then I think like a month before, my time frames are like really messed up right now. So sorry if I like don't say
No,
the
no, all good, mate.
exact dates, but I think like 4 or 6 weeks before I re-pulled it, and then that one was bad because it was closer to Pi 54 or K54, and super stressful. This was around the time when John came back, like, or he like visited Florida, and like we like filmed a lot of stuff together. Um, and then around this time, I was supposed to go to LA to do some sessions with Billy Dunkademics.
Yeah.
And this was like a week before, so now we're rushing to get my quad better, to go to LA. So I think like 3 days before I was supposed to go to LA, I go try to have a dunk session, jump. I'm like, yeah, my quad, like this is not happening. And then from there, it was like the lowest point, because like we were like a month out from K54. Like now I can't do the session in LA with Billy, so it was like a really low point. But we started rehabbing. This time we like did things smart, you know, like paid a lot more attention to my body, what hurt, what didn't. And I think like a month before, I was able to like start jumping. And then 2 weeks before K54, I tweaked it a little bit. Like it wasn't a full pull. Like when I jumped, when I pulled it, I would like actually feel the muscle, like I felt
Expand.
something
You
there.
would have been so
Um,
hyper aware of it as well, though. Like we've spoken about
yeah,
this
no,
in
the whole
podcasts,
time,
like
every
coming back from
jump,
injury.
yeah, even now, like I'm like aware of it. Like when I'm warming up and stuff like that, I'm like constantly paying attention to it. But yeah, 2 weeks before K54, I tweak it, and this time I'm like, oh shoot, like I'm scared. Like, so I decide. I think it took 2 weeks out. That entire week just resting. 1 week out, I decided not to jump, just so I could guarantee that I could jump at K54. So I fly in. This is my first time overseas, like period. Also, so I fly into France. You know, it's all crazy.
It's a crazy city,
Um,
Paris, as well.
yeah, yeah. And this whole time I haven't jumped for 2 weeks. So the dunk contest was my first time dunking, like since I tweaked it. So like that was on my mind. But like I get there, you know, I got to see the city, got to meet Kador and talk with him, which was awesome. Like seeing his mindset with everything, and then seeing all the dunkers, and I started to get that like adrenaline and like, you know, that excitement.
Yeah.
And I haven't been in a dunk contest in like 2 years, I think it was. So like I was amped. And the dunk contest itself, it was right by the Eiffel Tower. Like,
Yes. It's a
you know,
hectic
like
scene.
right, yeah. So we get off the train, like right by the Eiffel Tower to walk to the venue, and we get off the train and we're walking, and then all of a sudden you just hear like, I don't know if you've ever like approached the stadium where people are
Yeah.
screaming, but it's that like, ah, like we just hear it out of nowhere. I'm like, is that at
Because there
K54?
was
And
a
then the guy
lot
that
of
was with,
people there, like
yeah,
heaps of people. If you haven't
yeah,
listened, guys, go just Google it. It's QUAI 54. Is that how
yeah,
it's Yeah,
yeah.
just Google that and like dunk show on YouTube.
Yeah, so we just hear like massive amounts of people screaming. I'm like, is that where we're dunking? And the dude's like, yeah. And then instantly I just get chills, like chills up my arms. I look at the other guys that were in it, Daniel Cabella and Jordan Sutherland I was with, and like they're like we're like looking at over excited and stuff. And we had walked over to the court like the previous day, so we already knew like what it looked like, and like now it's like go time, like we're getting locked in. So we get there, like huge amounts of security, like people everywhere, like crazy just to
the
get
people are
into
hyped
it.
because they don't get a lot of exposure to basketball over there or this sort of
Yeah,
thing. It'd be
yeah,
like if
the
something
energy.
happened like that in Sydney, it'd be crazy.
Yeah, like the energy was insane. Like you could feel it in the air. Like everybody was excited. So we walk in, go to the locker rooms, and then I think it was like 4 hours until we dunked. And when I tell you it was the longest 4 hours of my life, like I'd be chilling in the locker room, then I would walk outside, but I'd be getting too hot and like the energy was too much. I was like, no, I gotta stay calm. Like, so I just stayed in the locker room. I had this little lacrosse ball actually that I brought to like foam roll and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, yo, that thing saved me. I just threw it against the wall for like 2 hours, just like
Just
trying to keep my mind off of it, off the contest and stuff. And then I think like 45 minutes before a guy comes in, tells us that it's 45 minutes till go time. And then my whole thing with warming up for dunking, it takes me 30 minutes. I've timed it like from the time I do my ISOs. You know about ISOs, right? Like isometrics, yeah. So ISOs take me like 10 minutes, and then dynamic warm up takes like 15 minutes.
I spent plenty of time in team builder too.
Yeah. And then like 5 minutes of my dunking until I'm like peak jumping. So all in all, it's like 30 minutes. So he tells us there's 45 minutes left. So I'm like, oh, it's about to be go time. We go to the back. I do my ISOs, feel good. Knee feels perfect. Quad feels good. I start doing my dynamic warm up. I think I was doing like my skips. And then as I'm doing my skips, one of the event coordinators comes and he's like, oh, like you guys have to wait over here. And then we're like, all right. So we go to the basketball court. They put us in like this little section, like 5 feet wide. Us three, like us four, scrunched up together, not able to warm up. And then we're there just standing. And then they start announcing the NBA, like the judges, like the NBA players.
Who was it? Blake Griffin,
Blake Griffin, Kemba Walker, Russell Westbrook,
all the Jordan
Jason
athletes.
Tatum.
Fuck.
Yeah,
that's hectic,
Blake,
man. Did you get love on IG? Did anyone even follow you on IG after that?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Dogs, mate. I thought they'd get after.
Yeah, but yeah, bro. The fact that those, and we didn't find out till we were there who the judges were gonna be too. So like, I'm getting amped, but like we're sitting there on the sideline, and they start announcing the judges, and they are taking their time. Like it felt like they were talking in slow motion, and like, every time a judge would come out, it was a lot. There was like 7-8 judges, and like they'd take like 5 minutes with each judge, ask them a question, and this whole time my warm up just went to shit. Like at this point, I'm just cooled down completely. Like, and I just gave up at that point. I was like, I'm probably not gonna go to like get to warm up. So finally, they introduce all the judges, and then they tell us to like warm up for dunks. And then I go there, jump up, grab the rim. I'm like, oh, I'm feeling good. And then start doing our thing. And then the dunk contest happened, and it was just crazy. Like the biggest adrenaline rush of my life. Like,
who
and
most
it all
pumped
happened
up to
so
see?
quick.
Like out of the judges, like who are you liking the most? Because Russ is crazy dunks. Jason Tatum's super athletic.
So Blake Griffin was definitely who I was most hyped to see. And we got to meet him the day before and stuff, just because like he's a dunker, like just the stuff he's done.
Were they cool? Him. Like pretty cool guys, or
bro? They all treated us like we were one of them.
Hectic.
Like they were super cool. They were into the dunk contest. I don't know, like there's some dunk contests where judges are just like sitting there bored out of their minds, like they don't want to be there. No, they were like into it, like yelling, hyping us up and stuff, and like talking to us like while we're waiting, like go ask us questions, like that kind of thing. Super into it.
That's cool.
My favorite judge, though, I would have to say is Carmelo Anthony.
Hectic.
Because I'm Puerto Rican, and they made that like kind of a big deal, like, oh, is Rivera from Puerto Rico, like all this stuff. And then, do you know who the Les twins are?
No.
They're like the two dancers. They're two dancers. They're sponsored by Jordan.
Oh, hectic.
Yeah, so they were like part of the judges, and one of the Les twins was by Carmelo, and then he's like he yells at me the Les twin, and he's like yo, I'm Puerto Rican too, and Melo, he's like come over here, and then I go over there, and this is after my first dunk. I hit a 360 between the legs,
Yeah.
so I go over to them, and then they're like yo, like good stuff, that's me up, and then Carmelo he shows me a tattoo he has on his hand. He has the Puerto Rican flag.
Hectic.
Like right there, and then he like dashed me up, gives me a hug, and he's like, "I'm rooting for you, I'm rooting for you."
Fuck,
And
that's
then yeah, from there I just got like energized and like just did my thing. I think by the before my Blake Griffin dunk, I knew I was gonna win with that. Like I was like, oh just from the position I was in the dunk contest, and like I just knew. I asked Blake Griffin, he was cool with me jumping over him, and then did a double up X. Double up X, that's like super easy, like a super easy dunk for me. Like, cause I do chair dunks where like someone stands on the chair
Yes.
and like
Yeah.
they hold the ball like this, and that's like 7'6". I've like measured it, so I knew I could like clear him super easy and stuff. And I just remember going up and seeing the rim like right here, and then like dunking, and then just seeing everybody, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna land like I'm the shit. I'm gonna land like I'm the shit, and just boom, and like yeah, it was freaking crazy, and like. That's when everybody got hyped and like I won.
Any word from Jumpman? Or they're like, look, you're gonna become the first sponsored dunker for Jumpman or Jordan?
Not yet. I'm hoping though.
Dude, that's hectic. You dunked over one of their athletes. They're all fucking hype on you. You won the competition, surely.
I think dunkers are gonna be able to. They're gonna start getting sponsorships from like the big names like Nike, like Jordan, all that. When we start getting into like the million follower range.
Yeah, oh for sure.
That's because like there's no like you got 1 million followers like on your page. You know, like why? Like who wouldn't? You know.
Well, Kilgannon, he's the closest, right? He's over.
Yeah, I think he's at like
some crazy.
Yeah, something like that.
And he's on SportsCenter all the time. He gets shout out by like all the different basketball pages.
Yeah,
well, you guys get a fair bit of love, but I notice him more than ever.
Yeah, especially recently. Like when he started like dunking again, like he's been blowing up. But yeah, man, super crazy experience. And what was nuts about it is like for the past month or two, I've been getting really into like meditation and like visualizing and stuff like that. And when I meditate like 15 minutes a day, I just sit down and just boom, like start meditating. And during my meditations, I visualize like the competitions I'm gonna do, the dunk sessions, all that stuff. So for the past 2 months, I've literally been visualizing winning K54, the dunks I was gonna do. I visualized me winning, like as if I was in the moment. So when I won, it was the weirdest feeling ever because I was like, I've been here like 1,000 times. So, like, what's going on? Like, because I've recreated that scenario so many times in my head. It was like, it felt normal. Like in a weird way, it felt normal.
That's so good, man. That honestly might be top 3 stories from guests we've had on the High Performance podcast. I think I got Andrew Lauderstein. He's an Australian swimmer when he raced Phelps and Cavish at the Olympics. Brendan Stark, an Australian high jumper, winning the Com Games. But that's number 3. I'm of course biased, but fuck, that's a good story.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, but yeah, best moment of my life, man. And then it was crazy because like right after that, it was dunk camp.
Yeah,
and like it was funny because everybody was like so hyped for dunk camp, but like K54 was so like in like right there, and like with the injuries I was having, I was so stressed out about it. Like once I won K54, it was like now I can think about dunk camp. Like now I can like relax a little bit, have fun, you know.
See, I'm such a consumer of like silly vlogs and your vlogs when you were doing them, and I know it would have been you just wanted to focus on that. But if you have that whole process again, you got to vlog every step of the way. It'd be crazy just to see the journey, like deal with the injury, that sort of thing. But I understand like the stresses of not wanting to be in front of the camera and not want to be creative. Like obviously with me, work stress, things like that, different sort of stresses, and then even doing the podcast, sometimes you really got to force yourself to do it. But if you vlogged all that shit, it would have been crazy, especially knowing that you won in the end after going through all those sort of setbacks.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to keep up with my YouTube channel. I haven't uploaded like in a while. It was ever since I like had that quad tweak because like I was planning on like vlogging everything. But when I tweaked my quad, just mentally, I was like, because I don't like recording. Even though I know it's helpful and I should record those, like I don't feel motivated to
Yeah,
record when I'm injured,
I
and
can agree.
yeah, so I just got to get through that. But nah, definitely, I'm definitely gonna get back on that, especially with like all these other events that I'm gonna be doing in the summer. Vlogging would be a really really good idea.
Well,
But
look, I suppose people get to hear about it now when they listen to this or see this.
yeah, now it's on record.
Now it's on record. All right, fuck, mate. That was good. I'm trying to think if I have any more dunk specific questions before we get into our scripted questions. But no, that was good shit. Like I said, I'm a fan, so it's easy to talk to you about this sort of stuff. Let's get into it. 5 favorite athletes.
All right, 5 favorite athletes. Number 1, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan. He was my dad's favorite basketball player growing up. So like, he would tell me about him, like watching his games and stuff. And one of the big things with him was like his mentality, like how he approached everything, like his work ethic and just like that killer instinct, that killer mentality. And I don't know, as a young kid, that just really hit home for me. Like I was like, I want to be like that. I'm gonna apply that to everything I do. And he was also like the first like real like dunker that I watched. Because growing up, I didn't really have like internet access like that. Like I didn't get internet access, like high speed internet where I could watch YouTube until I was like 14.
Dude,
I think
in
it was.
Australia, we still don't have high speed internet access.
But yeah, it's crazy because like I never knew about TFB, like Team Flight Brothers, like during their heyday. I didn't know about them. I didn't know about Dunkademics or anything like that. All I knew was the NBA and the All-Star dunk contest. So Michael Jordan, he was like the first guy I watched. I would watch all the NBA All-Star dunk contests. And then when I was like 14, 15 and I was able to like go on YouTube, that's when I really found out about the world of dunking. But I remember specifically one story. This was when I was like 11 or 12. On YouTube on the computer we had, like it took hours to load up like even like a few second video. So I found a video. It was titled Michael Jordan Greatest Dunk Ever. I could probably still find it on YouTube like with that title, but it was Michael Jordan Greatest Dunk Ever. And I don't know if you've seen it, but it's when somebody shot a free throw and then he comes in running from outside the 3-point line and like tip dunks it back in.
Fuck, that's hectic. I'll have to look it up.
So it was that clip right there. It was an 8-second clip, if I remember correctly. It was either like 2 seconds or 8 seconds, something like that. I hit play so it could start loading up. Went to the park, played basketball for like 4 hours, just pickup games. When I came back, the video was loaded, so I could like replay it. It was just like 8 seconds, and I just literally just watched that same dunk over and over and over and over again. So, so that's why Michael Jordan just number 1 like favorite athlete. Number 2, this is like 2 and 3 like interchangeable. I put Usain Bolt and Michael Phelps.
Who out of them? Because this is something we ask a lot of guys. Who do you think is the greatest athlete success-wise out of those two?
Oh, I might give it to Michael Phelps.
Yes. I always say Phelps, but everyone hates on me. But there you go, everyone. Fuck, I wish Angus was here for that.
I might give it to Michael Phelps. But the reason I chose them two is because of the first Olympics I ever watched was 2008.
Crazy.
2008 Olympics.
Might be the best ever.
And yeah, so I just remember going home like during that whole summer, and it was just Michael Phelps winning all these gold medals, and he's Team USA, and like I was there with my family. We'd be like cheering like for them and stuff. So yeah, that whole Olympics was watching Michael Phelps. Like that's what we like logged on. Like that's what we turned on the TV to watch, like all his races and stuff.
Yeah.
But around this time, I wasn't into like track and field at all, really. But I remember being home one day. It was probably like 7, 8 at night. Like I don't remember the exact. I just remember it was dark outside. Nobody was home, and I was just sitting on the couch, turned the TV on, and it's Usain Bolt, his like world record race. I didn't know it was gonna be his world record race, obviously at the time.
Well, he sort of burst on the scene. I remember the year before was like one of his first sub 10. He ran like. Well, he did not one of his first sub, but he ran 9.69 in New York. I think it was out of nowhere. I think on a wet track, and that's when everyone was like, "Shit!" They're like, "This is the guy."
Yeah. So yeah, so I turned on the TV and everybody's like hype, like the energy is crazy. Like you can just feel it. Like
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on, but you could just feel it. And then the race starts and he just takes off, like breaks the record, and again, like chills. I've never seen a 100-meter dash like in my life. Never looked at track and field, but he did that, and I was just like, what was that? That's one of the most insane things I've ever seen in my life. Without ever looking at a 100-meter dash in my life, it was one of the most crazy, like, just mind blowing. So I saw that, and then from there, I just got really into track and field. I never did track and field. I did track and field for 2 weeks. There's another story we can get into. But I was always like obsessed with track and field. Like I'd look up like high jumpers, long jumpers, sprinters. Like it was just fascinating to me. So just growing up, and that really played a role in like my athletic career, because even though I never did it for a school or anything like that, I would go outside in my backyard, pull out my measuring tape and just see how far I can jump. Yeah. Or I'd go outside with my little brother and be like, yo, like time my 40-yard dash, like boom. And then I would go on YouTube, sprinting form, like how to do this, how to do that. So it was always like a big part of my life, and it developed me into building that like movement base, like doing a lot of different things. So that's why Usain Bolt, Michael Phelps, 2 and 3. At 4, I put my favorite pro dunker ever, Air Up There. Air Up There, he's one of the freakiest people I've ever seen in game. I think he's the best in-game dunker of all time.
I'm gonna have to look him up. That's one I've never heard of.
Yeah, he's the guy that did a 720 in a game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So crazy height on his dunks, his style is crazy. So just as a pro dunker, like I watch his videos all day. Like to this day, I'll go on YouTube and I'll spend hours like one day just watching all his videos, like studying style and stuff. And then for my 5th one, another pro dunker, I put Jordan Kilgannon. It's kind of weird because now I'm gonna be like competing against him and stuff. But at the end of the day, Jordan, he's the guy that made me realize it's possible to achieve the level that I hit. And then he's also the guy that like believed in me and kind of built that base for me from the beginning. Because with Jordan Kilgannon, kind of like a background story. So first people I found on YouTube like with dunking was Steven and CJ. I mean, Steven and Nico. And like this was when I was around 15, and I just kept up like with their dunking and all that stuff. And then I remember one day on like a message board, I found, it's called like a Darky, like the website ADARQUI. Okay. And somebody made a post and they were like, oh, look at this kid. He went from like not being able to dunk, and now he's doing this dunk. And it was when he did the crown for the first time, where he sticks both his arms backwards in the rim. So I go on the YouTube that they clicked, and then on YouTube you can order the videos from oldest to newest. So I go to his oldest videos, and his oldest video on there is 9-4 rim dunks, and it's him like rim grazing 9-4, and I'm like, huh? Yeah, Jordan Kilgannon.
Yeah, I got to do that. I got to go for a deep dive through his Instagram.
Yo, so I start scrolling down and seeing more and more of his YouTube videos, seeing his progress. I'm like, this is crazy. Like he's my age right here, and that was the other thing. That first video was the age I was like at the time when I started watching it. So I was like, all right, we're at the same spot here. And then I started seeing his progress, and it's like, now he's doing this. And that was the day, like my brain, like my mind just opened. Like it's like the universe was like, like it told me what was possible. Yeah. And then I started Googling Jordan Kilgannon, found the interview that he jumped every day. And from there it was a wrap.
And
like
then
I started
RIP knees.
Yep.
Fucking Jordan, you couldn't have given him some advice about ISOs or something, could have you?
But yeah, I started dunking every day, and I started posting videos on YouTube and like Facebook and all that stuff. And I told you he became my friend on Facebook. Yeah. And there was one day I posted a video and I was like, I'm trying to get a windmill on 9.6. Anybody have advice? And it was me, horrible attempts at a windmill. Like my windmills used to be shit. So he responds and he types like 2 pages worth of like tips, approach stuff, what I'm doing wrong. And then I'm going crazy. And then he messages me directly with more tips. And literally, as soon as I read it, I'm in my house reading it. I go outside, put my phone down, record, hit my first windmill on 9-6, go back inside, send him the video. And this is within like 10, 15 minutes of him messaging me. And he's like, yo, like, no one's ever taken my advice that quick. Like, most people don't even, like, do it, like, use my advice.
And then he's like, I love you, mate.
And then from there, I guess he just saw something in me. And he told me from early on, this is another thing that kind of, like, just put that thought into my head. He's like, yo, you could be the best dunker in the world one day. Like, you could be better than me easy if you put in the work. And I was like in my head, I was like, say less. Like, I got that. And then, so from there, man, it was just, later on, he like FaceTimed me with more in-depth training stuff, like his actual methodology to like training. And just went on this crazy dunk journey.
What an idol. When I was young, I wrote a letter, this is before the internet, to my Iron Man idol, because he advertised Wheat Bix, and I did more Wheat Bix than him, and he never wrote back to me. So there you go. Jordan's way better.
Yeah. No, so that's why, yeah, like I might compete against him and like all that stuff now, and it's cool, but like at the end of the day, he's always the hero. You know, the guy. Yeah, exactly. He's the reason I do all this stuff. The reason I think any of this was possible.
That's cool. And number 5?
Yeah.
What was that, 5?
Yeah,
no, that was 5.
Oh, that was 5.
Jordan, Phelps, Usain, what did you say his name was so we can look him up?
Air up there,
and Kilkenny.
Air up there.
Good 5. I like it. Next question.
Yeah.
If you're on death row, what would your last meal be?
Ooh, last meal. It would probably be there's this type of like lasagna that they make in Puerto Rico. It's like you know what plantains are?
Is it like some sort of banana?
Yeah, it looks like a really big green banana, basically. And if you cut it and like you let it sit for a while, it gets sweet. It gets like a sweet flavor. So in Puerto Rico, we make this lasagna with those sweet plantains in there, and it's a lasagna. It's got the cheese.
Yeah.
It's got like the pasta, ground beef, but it's got those sweet plantains also on it. And I'm a big like Italian. Like you could substitute it with a regular lasagna too. It could be a regular lasagna, but yeah, just big ass, perfectly made sweet plantain lasagna.
Sweet plantain lasagna. Okay, I've never tried. I gotta say that's what's good about this question is Angus and I always learn something, like some different cultures, some sort of food.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Like, and I haven't tried any, but I don't even know if we can get. I'm sure they sell plantains somewhere in Australia.
Probably.
I got to get some.
I wouldn't be surprised
for the recipe.
Yeah. Look up the recipe and your life will change.
Yeah, sweet plantain lasagna. All right. So next question. This is Angus' one. Do you have a party trick?
Party trick
besides dunking and jumping really high?
Oh, that's a tough one. I can do that. Oh, they're all like athleticism based.
Yeah, look, as long as it's not dunking or jumping.
I can do that. You know that breakdancing move where you grab your foot and then you jump over your leg?
That's pretty hectic. I'll take that one. I'll take that one. That's a good.
Yeah, that's a pretty good party trick. I don't know. They're all in the moment. I have a lot of random stuff I do.
No, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, next question is: if you could have a rapper rap about you, who would it be and what would they say?
Oh man, these questions are good. This is my favorite genre of music, so there's a lot of rappers.
Who do you feel? It could be all time. It could be right now.
I would get Eminem, and he would rap really fast about all the dunks I've ever hit. I just want to see what he can rhyme with dunking words, like double up, 360 between the leg, all that stuff. Like
I'm sure he'd be able to do plenty.
Yeah.
I like it. And then what have we got next? Fuck, it's a lot easier when Angus is here to go back and forth. Oh, the Sure challenge. If you could turn back time, what's one thing you would change?
Wait, which challenge?
It's the Sure. You know Sure, this artist, the singer. If I could turn back time. Dude, she's American, and every American we've had on since we asked this question is like, who's Sure?
Really?
Yeah. Anyway, look, CHER. If you do, maybe she just has a cult following in Australia. Sure. She's like a big tall lady. She's like 70 now. The song was, you know what? It was probably famous before you were born. Anyway, after the interview, I'll send you the link for sure if I could. But
all right.
if you could turn back time, what's something you would change? Maybe we gotta restructure the question.
If I could turn back time, I would learn about knee health early on.
That's the how. Like, what do you do? Like, go get. What do you find? I guess you find books at the library. I guess you could have searched the internet a bit more in depth.
I mean, it's tough because like I think about this all the time. Like, would it have benefited me, or like, am I who I am now because of the knee pain and like all those like trials and stuff? So I don't know. I don't know if I would change that, but that's my first like thought. I would definitely get rid of my knee pain early.
Yeah. There you go. That's it, mate. Done. Wrap up Instagram. What you got upcoming? Sponsors? Anything? I enjoyed the shit out of that interview. I actually felt like I wasn't. Not that this ever feels like a job, but that was good.
Yeah.
That was
that felt quick, to be honest.
Dude, I think that was. Hold on, let me check. Yeah, it was over an hour. I think it was like an hour 20. No, a bit less.
What?
A bit less. Hour 10.
That felt so fast. But now you can find me on Instagram, Isaiah Rivera 1. On YouTube. That's actually what I'm trying to grow right now. It's my favorite platform to use is YouTube. Again, you can just type in my name, Isaiah Rivera Dunks, and you'll find my channel on there. Other than that, I got a dunk contest this Sunday, trying to win my first FIBA 3x3 competition.
Fuck yeah, Mexico City, mate. In a month, you've been Utah, Paris, Mexico, crazy.
Yeah. And then China, end of the month,
hectic.
Is my next big thing.
You should duck down to Australia after that.
Yo, I would love to.
I'll tell you, there's a market for John to come down with like yourself and in Sydney do a seminar or something just on jumps and let you demonstrate. I reckon it'd be good. We could promote it through the show.
I would love to set something up. Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah,
could definitely happen.
Yeah, that would be super fun. But gonna be a huge summer full of dunks and stuff. So yeah, just be on the lookout for videos. Drop any day.
Nice. Well, there you go, guys. Make sure you check Isaiah out on all the platforms. YouTube's very entertaining. Whether everyone can appreciate dunking. I feel like everyone has been to a basketball court, seen how hard those hoops are, and just to see you guys flying so close to the rim is very impressive. And yeah, there you go. Anything else you want to add, mate?
Can't wait to be back on again.
Hopefully in studio next time with John. That'd be crazy.
Yep.
And Angus will be here then. All right, guys, there you go. Make sure you check Isaiah out. Thanks again for coming on, and we'll catch you guys next time.